The Annotated Heart. Welcome back to the Redemption Files. I'm Abby. This week's story is a special one for me, as I wrote it after attending a writer's workshop in America at The Ohio State University. The campus, the town, and the people inspired me, and this story. Chapter 1. The Literary Predicament. Is it not a peculiar fact, mused Harper Phillips to the empty classroom, that I can explain the nuances of Melville to reluctant 17-year-olds, yet cannot fathom why adults insist on scheduling faculty meetings at 8 o'clock on Monday mornings? The autumn sun filtered through the windows of Millfield High School's English department. Harper, or Miss Phillips as she was known to her students, stood a mere 5'2" in her sensible loafers, though her presence always commanded far more spatial volume than her petite frame suggested. At 32, Harper had long ago assessed the probability of finding meaningful romance in Millfield, Ohio, population 12,083, and found it woefully improbable. Her dark hair was perpetually fashioned into a pragmatic bob, short enough to stay out of her eyes when grading essays, long enough to tuck behind her ears when contemplating a metaphor. "Miss Phillips, do you always talk to yourself, or is this a special occasion?" The voice belonged to Principal Matthews, a man whose enthusiasm for educational administration was matched only by his collection of motivational coffee mugs. "I find I'm the only person guaranteed to understand my literary references," Harper replied. "Everyone else requires supplementary materials." Principal Matthews chuckled. "Well, I came to inform you we have a new addition to our science department. Dr. James Sullivan will be taking over for Mrs. Hendricks while she's on maternity leave. He's coming from university research, so please make him feel welcome. I shall extend all the conviviality English teachers are famous for," Harper said dryly. "That's what I was afraid of," Matthews sighed. "Just try not to scare him off before October. We need someone who understands more about chemistry than baking soda volcanoes." Later that afternoon, a deep voice interrupted Harper's lesson planning. "Excuse me, would you happen to know where room 23 is hiding?" Harper looked up to find a tall man with rumpled sandy hair leaning against her doorframe. He wore a tweed jacket with elbow patches that somehow avoided looking pretentious, and his green eyes crinkled at the corners when he smiled. "You've navigated to room 235, she replied. "Room 237 is 2 doors down, following our revolutionary consecutive numbering system." The man laughed, a real laugh, not the polite chuckle most people offered her humour. "I see. I've stumbled upon the local satirist. Satire is my second subject. English literature is my first." She extended her hand. "Harper Phillips." "James Sullivan," he replied, his large hand enveloping hers. "Though I occasionally dabble in getting hopelessly lost in school hallways." "A Renaissance man," Harper observed. "Follow the corridor's numerical progression, Dr. Sullivan. Your laboratory awaits." As he left, Harper ignored the slight acceleration in her heartbeat. Romance had no place in her carefully ordered world, especially not with a temporary colleague. Temporary characters did not belong in permanent stories. Chapter 2. Character Development. The first faculty meeting of the year was, as Harper predicted, an exercise in endurance. As Principal Matthews droned on about standardized testing, Harper worked on a crossword hidden in her notebook. 7 across. "Romantic poet known for solitary walks," she muttered. "Wordsworth," I whispered a voice beside her. Harper turned to find Dr. Sullivan, taking the empty seat next to her. "I was merely allowing myself time to recall it," she said, though she filled in the name. "I couldn't bear to watch you struggle," he teased. "How gallant. Do you rescue all damsels, solving crosswords? Only the ones hiding them during meetings. It demonstrates intelligence and a healthy disregard for bureaucracy, qualities I admire." Before Harper could retort, Principal Matthews called on James to introduce himself. James stood, his tall frame unfolding gracefully. "I spent 7 years at Ohio State's chemistry department, researching renewable energy. While I've enjoyed research, I've always been drawn to teaching. This opportunity lets me focus on passing knowledge to the next generation instead of publishing papers only 12 people read, 3 of whom just check if I cited them." Laughter rippled through the room. Harper noticed several female teachers sitting straighter, particularly Jeannie Morris from French, who was twirling her hair like a wildlife documentary subject. When James sat, he leaned toward Harper. Sufficiently autobiographical while maintaining mystery, you forgot your favorite color and whether you prefer dogs or cats. Blue, and both, though I have a cat named Schrödinger. He's simultaneously well-behaved and destructive until you open the door. Harper bit back a laugh, just as Principal Matthews called her name to share the English department's goals. She stood smoothly. Our focus is implementing new standards without sacrificing literary joy. As Virginia Woolf wrote, literature is strewn with the wreckage of men who have minded beyond reason the opinions of others. I want our students to mind their own opinions first. When she sat, James whispered, "Impressive. You quoted Woolf while subtly criticizing standardized testing. My strategy is counting ceiling tiles, an activity with limited intellectual benefits, but surprisingly meditative," he countered. After the meeting, James invited her to lunch at Millie's Diner with colleagues. "I've been told their pie is transcendent. As a scientist, I must verify." Harper hesitated. Her routine involved grading at her desk. "I should prepare for afternoon classes. It's the first day. You'll be reviewing syllabi and learning names. Surely that can wait for pie verification." Against her better judgment, Harper found herself sliding into a booth at Millie's beside James, Jeannie, and Robert from physical education. Why? All 17 verses declared by Millie. Chapter 3. Plot development begins. Harper never joins us for lunch. Jeannie said with barely concealed surprise. She usually has very important books to analyze. The books will still be unanalyzed when I return, Harper replied. Their complexity doesn't diminish with time, unlike certain conversation topics. She glanced pointedly at Jeannie's celebrity magazines. James smoothly interjected, "Does Millfield have humanities-science collaborations for the annual fair? Cross-departmental projects often yield innovative results." The conversation turned professional, and Harper found herself engaged. Despite her reluctance, James had intriguing ideas about integrated learning. When their food arrived, the apple pie proved worthy of empirical study. "Verdict?" James asked. "The cinnamon-to-sugar ratio is precisely calibrated," Harper conceded. "The crust maintains ideal structural integrity, worthy of poetic odes." James laughed. High praise from the Department of Literary Dessert Analysis. Walking back to school, Harper felt uncharacteristically relaxed. James was intelligent, witty, and genuinely cared about education. "I've been wondering," he said, as they approached the building. "Would you collaborate on a project?" "I'd like to demonstrate scientific concepts through literature to engage struggling students." "That actually sounds interesting," Harper admitted. "Though I warn you, I maintain high standards for academic rigor." "I'd expect nothing less," I said, with a small bow. "Meet in the library after school tomorrow to discuss?" Harper agreed, telling herself her quickened pulse was due to professional excitement, not the way sunlight brought out golden flecks in his green eyes. Temporary characters did not belong in permanent narratives, no matter how intriguing. Chapter 4. The Café Collaboration. The library collaboration became a weekly occurrence. What began as curriculum planning expanded into discussions about teaching philosophies and life beyond school. "The trouble with teaching chemistry," James remarked one October afternoon, "is students expect explosions daily, when most science is careful observation. Literature suffers the opposite problem," Harper countered. "Students expect dullness, when it contains the most explosive emotions in existence. We should start a PR campaign. Literature, more exciting than you think. Chemistry, occasionally less explosive than you hope." Harper's laugh startled Mrs. Winters, the librarian who'd rarely heard more than polite murmurs from her in 5 years. As autumn painted Millfield in russet and gold, Harper found herself anticipating their meetings with perplexing eagerness. James had become an unexpected constant, a character who fit seamlessly into her narrative. On a frigid Friday when the school boiler failed, Principal Matthews announced an early dismissal. Harper was erasing her Hawthorne analysis when James appeared at her door, buttoned against the chill. I propose we continue at the bookend cafe, he said. Adequate heating, excellent coffee, and a quiet corner. Harper hesitated. School meetings felt professional. A cafe edged towards something else. Seeing her reluctance, James added, or not. Just a suggestion to salvage productive time. No, it's logical, she conceded, gathering her materials. My radiator has 2 settings, Arctic Expedition and Surface of the Sun. Chapter 5. Confessions over coffee. The bookend cafe smelled of cinnamon and old paper. As they worked, their usual rhythm dissolved, Harper's initial awkwardness. I've been meaning to ask, James said during a coffee break. What brought you to teaching? You clearly have the intellect for advanced research. Harper rarely shared personal history, but his curiosity disarmed her. I had a teacher in 10th grade, Miss Abernathy. Before her, I was good at literature, but didn't care. She showed me books were about understanding humanity. When I was struggling with personal matters, they became my sanctuary. James nodded. Teachers like that change lives. My chemistry professor showed me science was about questions, not just answers. He smirked. Go, explosions helped. And yet here we are in Millfield, James pressed. You haven't fully answered why. Harper traced her mug's rim. I wanted to be for others what Miss Abernathy was for me. Millfield students deserve excellence too. She turned the tables. Your turn. What brings an MIT chemist here? A shadow crossed James's face. My research team prioritized profit over ethics. I left before becoming someone I wouldn't respect. Harper studied him with new appreciation. Integrity is unvalued. Spoken like a true English teacher, he smiled. Always seeking truth in fiction. As dusk fell, they'd spent 4 hours together without checking the time. A first for Harper's meticulously scheduled life. Chapter 6. The Symphony Invitation. Standing outside the cafe, Harper felt an unfamiliar reluctance to part. Would you... They began simultaneously, then laughed. Harper gathered her courage. Would you attend the symphony next weekend? They're performing Tchaikovsky. I have 2 tickets. She had 1. Delighted, James said. On one condition. You let me take you to dinner first. Her pulse fluttered. Acceptable. High praise indeed. His eyes crinkled. I'll strive to elevate it to above average. Walking home, Harper's mind raced. Was this a date? Why did the prospect terrify and exhilarate her equally? For a woman who prized analytical thinking, matters of the heart followed arcs far more complex than any she'd taught. Ones where the ending couldn't be found by flipping to the last page. Chapter 7. The Concert and the Kiss. Dinner at Marcello's flowed as easily as their cafe talks, though with a new undercurrent of awareness. I've never attended a symphony, James confessed over tiramisu. Tchaikovsky is ideal, emotionally expressive yet structured. Like good literature, you connect disparate fields beautifully, James said. It's what I admire most about you. Harper looked away, unused to personal praise. Just pattern recognition. Don't diminish your talents, Harper. It doesn't suit you. At the concert, Harper watched James's face more than the orchestra. His expressions mirrored the music swells, wonder, melancholy, joy. During the violin cadenza, his hand found hers in the dark. She didn't pull away. At her doorstep later, James stepped closer. I should warn you, Harper stammered. I don't do relationships well. Emotions aren't texts to analyze, he murmured. They're chemical reactions, worth the risk. Then he kissed her, every nerve ignited. When they parted, Harper was speechless, a condition previously only induced by first edition discoveries. I'll call tomorrow, James asked, suddenly uncertain. Yes, she whispered, her fortress of solitude quietly crumbling. Chapter 8. The Conference and the Offer. At the Ohio Science Teachers Conference, their joint presentation sparked lively discussion. Miss Phillips, what a surprise, said Dr. Harrington, James's former colleague. His smile didn't reach his eyes. Left Ohio State rather abruptly, didn't you? Harper stiffened. James stepped in coolly. Edward Harrington. We've disagreed on research ethics before. After Harrington left, not before offering James a tenure-track position, Harper excused herself to the restroom, heart pounding. When she returned, James was waiting with coffee. Harrington wants my research, not my principles, he said. He believes everyone has a price. Harper sipped her coffee, analyzing the narrative possibilities. It's a generous offer, but... James studied her face. But nothing. It's logical. Her tone was neutral, but her stomach churned. James took her hand. Some costs aren't in the benefits package. Compromising ethics. Leaving someone I've grown attached to. Harper's breath hitched. Attachments can transfer locations. James shook his head. I'm rooted in Millfield. It's where I flourished after withering in Harrington's toxicity. That night in their hotel room, Harper watched snowflakes vanish in streetlights. You're overthinking, James said, embracing her from behind. I'm at a crossroads. Part of me wants to retreat to predictable solitude. And the other part wants to take a red pen to that entire narrative. She turned to face him and write something new. With you. Chapter 9. The Promise. Spring arrived as Harper graded finals, her sapphire ring glinting in the sunlight. A knock interrupted her. Miss Phillips, James teased from the doorway. Got a moment for literary, scientific matters? That depends. Is it more pressing than Gatsby essays? Infinitely. He set down coffee. I've been experimenting. Does caffeine and company improve grading? She sipped. Promising results. What's the control group? Grading in solitude, fueled by existential dread. Harper laughed. Your rigor is impeccable. James grew serious. About summer, I'd like to test a new variable, living together. Harper's fingers stilled. I know you value space, he continued, but I don't want another summer waking up apart, wondering if Schrodinger's knocked over your books. Harper exhaled. You realize my mornings involve excessive tea and brooding silence. I'm prepared. And my books will colonize every surface. I've cleared shelves. She narrowed her eyes. You've planned this. Strategic preparation. He grinned. After a pause, she nodded. Let's conduct the experiment. With a caveat, if it fails, we revert to independent variables. James kissed her forehead. Deal, though I'm confident in the data. As he left, Harper glanced at her ring. For the first time, the future didn't feel like an uncertain draft, but a story she was eager to read. The end. Thank you for listening to The Annotated Heart. I hope you've enjoyed this story as much as I enjoyed telling it. If you would like to hear more, please like and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, I'm Abby Turner. Take care.